sidekick. Inadequate.
For those of you who haven't given this one a shot yet, just to get the mystery out of the way, Gotham Knights is one of the most awaited games of 2022, came out a couple months ago, and has ever since just been a disappointment in a lot of ways. See, if you do like the idea of playing a Batman game in co-op without Batman himself, well, actually some really fun combat, Gotham Knights does deliver that in addition to a huge open world. Other than that, game's got nothing else to offer the series haven't featured 100 times already, and that is all there is to it.
Untrustworthy. Uncontrolled. A monster. Pretender. A pale imitation. A wise, cracking disappointment.
Soon, they'll starve. And the machines meant to help us are out of control. I have to find a way to fix it all.
Coming up behind that, we have the most visually advanced game on the list here, Horizon Forbidden West. Would I have to call it triumph in its series of open world games? See, Forbidden West had everything amped up, a head and a neck above, and improved in every way possible. This game could be addictive, has pretty interesting characters, a very nice plot, and a very decent graphic, on top of all hill. The music is even on point. If you have ever enjoyed the original game, this one's definitely a no-brainer.
Leader, Regala, seeks to slaughter all those who've wronged her. She will kill anyone who gets in her way. They say she answers to a higher power. He supplied her with troops, weapons, even the ability to control machines. Machines of war.
Whatever secrets he has, he's keeping to himself. And the solution I need is broken and scattered. Everywhere I look. Mia? No. Who's Mia?
She's my sister.
Promise you'll never leave me alone here. Never.
I won't leave you.
Swear.
I don't have to.
Not him, no!
Now, at number 3, if we're talking scale, we've got over here Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the most famous survival horror open world game of 2022, hell, even 2021. See, Dying Light 2 in my opinion was a much bigger and bolder entry in this series, with of course modernized graphics, a more twisted story, and some really amazing characters to fall in love with. Nothing to get tangled with, just technical with, except just a few bugs some folks encountered. Other than that, this game is a masterpiece all the way.
Supposed to. Just keep your eyes and ears open. The next few minutos could mean the difference between becoming Santo Ileso's numero uno crime boss or just another notch in some punk's stolen gun belt.
Next up, we've got over here once again Saints Row's latest game, just Saints Row, would, after months and months of anticipation and rumors, came out in August as the newest game since Saints Row 4 that came out in 2013. The game featured a completely new cast of characters, some next level co-op multiplayer, and as always, one of the most insane open world aesthetics that's just possible and works for a video game. And, well, of course, just about everything the series has always had to offer, and even more. Moving on.
Of Santo Ileso.
Try to keep up this time.
This dusty jewel is a hotspot for striking it reach, from the glittering high-rises of Lakeshore right down to the dusty streets of Mercado, and across the sprawling desert that guards our city like the angel of death. It's the ultimate sinner's playground, ripe with opportunity to make a quick buck. But nothing comes for free here. Meet the factions. In this corner, you've got Los Panteros, Sergio's gang. They run a smuggling enterprise out of the Mercado and Barrio districts. They'll have no hesitations about getting up in your business, so watch your back around there.
At number 5, we've got over here Sonic Frontiers. Now, it's actually pretty simple with Sonic. If you do like the idea of a 3D Sonic game, that used to come out on Nintendo, remember the Sonic 3D game? Damn, man. Anyway, if an open world Sonic game with the most action you could ever imagine thrills you, well, Frontiers over here does that and a lot more. It's got the most content out of any Sonic game here, and Sega has actually done a great job in delivering. Here's how it works. The game is literally bug-free. If you are a Borderlands fan, or have been waiting for the right moment to invest a good amount of time in them, well, Tiny Tina's Wonderland is just one of the best options for you on the table right now if you haven't played a Borderlands game yet. It's a fantastic take on the Borderlands looter-shooter formula, with procedurally generated combats and loots, which is so much more content and the kind of game that you won't be able to put down after you've picking it up for a long time. It's addictive as hell, it's got loads of RPG elements, and it is quite huge in scale.
Elden Ring, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
Even though it's been almost a whole year since this one's been out on all platforms, we've got over here at number 7, Elden Ring, just simply the biggest game of the year in scale, detail, story, lore, and most importantly, gameplay. I mean, no wonder why every single website, except just a couple, have given it nothing but a 10 out of 10. If you do like the idea of a Dark Souls open world or just something very challenging, action RPG, well, Elden Ring is about as further as they actually go.
Be born.
Well, a lowly tarnished, playing as a lord. I command thee now!
Now, Ghostwire Tokyo would be specifically for those of you who are into home runs. See, if you're the kind of player that easily gets distracted with bits of details around every corner, you kind of lose track of the game or just the pace of the game with this one. First off, let me just say that Ghostwire Tokyo is the most innovative first-person action semi-open world game of the year, and one with a pretty decent story, some really great mystery, and really amazing graphics. It's a 10 out of 10, but still definitely not for everyone.
体をよこせ。妹は助けてやる。終わらせるぞ。アキト。
Things will get tough. You have a whole host of things to go through as you head into the future. Make friends. Keep them close to you. Always.
Xenoblade Chronicles, on the other hand, just automatically, pretty much just like the biggest franchises out there, let's say Final Fantasy, has always been amongst the most praised RPGs of all time. It delivers in story once again, gameplay mechanics, details, and performance. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is amongst the top 5 Switch exclusives out of any list, not just RPGs, improved upon the original formula with much more content in environment, characters, lore, and just about the most engaging story of all time.
Think you have a future? Well, you don't. Chase them to the ends of the world.
Better listen up now, because the face of your real enemy is the final act.
Stop toying with everyone's lives!
Our conviction has never been stronger.
XSX, you're now Ouroboros.
Eliminate Ouroboros at all costs.
And now, we will show no mercy.
Number 10, well, Slime Rancher 2 is just one of the most fantastic sequels that came out in the year, but at the same time one of the most charming life simulations that still has a lot of room and potential. This game's got a pretty simple concept though. You get these slimes, you trap them, feed them, and then eventually sell them. It has everything about the first game that had, just amped up to a significant amount. If you do like the original game, this definitely is for you. If not, still, it's definitely the kind of game you want to try. At least, check it out in case you missed it.
タイムパトロール本部から転送されたスーパータイムマシンだ。あれを起動させられればこの周辺すべてを正しい時間の流れに戻せる。
Moving on, we've got over here Dragon Ball The Breakers. Now, I'm sure most of you heard about this one by now, that the open world Dragon Ball game was one of the most disappointing entries of the whole franchise, and it's only just for a small group of gamers maybe. The game's fine, it's not bad at all, it's just the concept of it is just pretty repetitive compared to the rest of the open world games, and there's a lot of better candidates out there that you could try for much less money. This game is definitely for anime fans, and you've got to be a veteran, otherwise you're going to be very disappointed with this one. In any case, this was also one of the biggest releases of the year. At number 12, we've got over here LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I'm not really sure if I could give this one any specific recommendation, as this series always speaks for itself. Skywalker Saga is legitimately one of the biggest games of the year. I'm not just talking content, but also in the way of details. I mean, no one has ever heard of any bug for the game. It is huge in scale, and you could actually get bored with it if you're kind of new here. Other than that, it's a LEGO game, got all the comedy elements here, and about 10 different campaigns to play through, which take you each at least a few hours. Coming up behind that, we have Need for Speed Unbound. Now, for those of you new here, this is the 25th game in the series of Need for Speed games, and now partnership with the studio Criterion, which is some true veterans when it comes to racing games. The game is a lot in the same style of the 2019 Need for Speed Heat, albeit with a totally fresh art style, much more engaging, more rewarding of course, and quite challenging. If you have played a few not so great in terms of gameplay though, open world games, the kind you just wish at times were a little less frustrating in handling, well, Scarlet and Violet is, aside from something exactly like that, the #1 recommendation I'd give you if you're into Pokemon universe. This game has such amazing characters, environment and monsters that at times you wonder why you haven't started this game even sooner. It is huge in scale, got an endless amount of content, and a Switch exclusive. And last but not least, we've got here the old Tunic, a semi-Souls-like action platformer, probably the hardest game in the list if we haven't mentioned Elden Ring already. And if I had to say so myself, it's somewhere between a Zelda game, some classic vibes and music, and about everything that was the case for Dark Souls game, specifically the challenges. The game is now available on all platforms. It's got legitimate scores for what it delivers and one of the more smooth gameplay systems out of the whole genre. That is it.